Okay, I was super nervous to make this video at first because I was like, what if people think I'm weird? What if people think I'm crazy? But honestly, I don't really care. Like, I'll be that person that'll get really nervous about something and then I'll just be like, you know what, screw it. I'm not gonna feel weird about it because that's who I am. I'm fascinated by the weird and unusual and the paranormal, and if I didn't contribute that to my channel, I wouldn't be being myself, you know? I became super inspired to do a video like this and even make a channel from a fellow YouTuber named Kyla Rebecca. I came across her channel and she had this ghost story. I'll link it below. It just freaked me out so bad. I've never heard anything remotely similar. I never go out of my way to like message anybody first or like message a YouTuber or anything like that. Like I don't know, I just never do. But I was like, you know what, I need to message her and tell her how freaked out I was by her story and how fascinating it was. So I did, and she replied, and I talked to her really quickly, and she really inspired me to start this channel. So thank you so much if you're watching this. These are just going to be a few stories that primarily happened to me. I grew up around a lot of ghost stories and stuff from family members, and those are honestly a lot scarier and bone-chilling than mine are going to be. So I might do a different video another time on those. But this one's just going to be stories that happened to me in Florida, because I have a whole nother group of stories that happened to me in New York, where I currently live. Okay, so I'm originally from Florida. I lived there for the first 13 years of my life. I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I lived there until I was 10 years old. And when I was 10 years old, I moved a little bit north and we moved to a place called Palm Coast. Palm Coast, Florida is just weird. There was just a bunch of different things that happened there. My cousin saw like this man standing over her bed one night. My uncle saw this huge black flying figure up in the trees one night. So much stuff. There was this time where we were all outside and it was nighttime and we were taking pictures, and every other picture that we took would just be covered in orbs. It was the weirdest thing ever, and we thought it was dust, but the weirdest thing is every other picture would have orbs. We'd take one picture, covered in them. We'd take another one, not a single one. And we did this like 30, 40 times. It was just weird. This one time, me and my dad were at home and we heard this weird, how many times am I gonna say weird? We heard this strange music, just eerie music coming from one of the bedrooms, and after about 15 seconds it went off, and it was like nothing I have ever heard before. It just sounded like ritualistic chanting type music, and it came from one of the bedrooms, and after 15 seconds just gone. And my dad is kind of a skeptic, and he was even like, what was that? This one time, me and my two cousins were out in the living room and we were playing like dance party. I think we were learning the dance to like High School Musical, I don't know. We had this huge cover out on the floor, and my mom was in her room and she called us in to go into her room. And we all went in there, and when we went back out to the living room, this huge cover, thick, huge cover, was in a ball in the middle of the floor. What? This other time, me and my cousin were messing around and a few weird things had happened to my house, and we were watching like this ghost show and we were just playing around. We were really young at the time and we were like, if there's anything in here, mess with the electricity. I shit you not. As soon as I finished that sentence, the electricity in the house went out. I'm not kidding. And we have never had the electricity go out in a weird situation like that. It was completely sunny outside. It was weird, and that house was just funky in general. This last story is kind of the story that made me believe 100% that there's something weird in this world. I had always kind of believed in the paranormal because of how many stories I grew up around, but this just finalized it for me. One night in the summer before 7th grade, I was at the computer desk and I was on the computer back in them MySpace days, and little 7th grade Gabby was just like 20-year-old Gabby, where she had a screwed up sleep schedule like always. So I was at the computer desk at around 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody else had went to bed at 12. This was my mom and her boyfriend. They both went to bed at 12. So I was at the computer desk in the dark, in the living room, in the dark, in the complete silence for 5 hours. Think about that. 5 hours of nothing, no sounds, no nothing except for the clicking of my mouse. Then it happened. I'm sitting there and I hear something say my name. It just still freaks me out. Plain as day, as loud as you can possibly imagine, something said, "Gabby." It was a woman's voice and it was coming from right behind me, and she said "Gabby" twice. And the second time it sounded more of like a whisper. I can still hear the voice in my head to this day. Kind of like, "Gabby, Gabby." What? I didn't leave my mom's side for like days after that. She woke up and obviously believed me, and I just talked to her not long ago about this incident and she was like, "Yeah, you were freaked out." I'm like, okay, so like I said, those are just some of the ones that happened to me when I was in Florida. More of the freaky ones happen to other family members, and I do have quite a few from living here in New York, and one of those includes a really freaky EVP that still scars me to this day. So if you want to see that, stick around and subscribe. I would love that. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye. I don't know how to end a video. I'm just hoping that nothing weird happens while I was taping this, and I'm gonna go like plug it into the computer and there's gonna be some freaky ass voice on it. Fingers crossed, guys.